Okay, now we're going to log in as engineering mode. So I'm going to log in, and the login is ENG, and then the password is 123 just to get you in. And you'll notice the buttons change on the bottom. Now I can go into service mode, and in service mode lets me control the machine manually. I can turn on and off different valves, and I can also flow a gas. And so now gas is flowing into the chamber. I can turn on and off the RF generator. I can run the machine basically manually. So that lets you set things up or tweak things or play with things. You can open and close the valves, do whatever you want to do with the system. Then you can go to edit mode. This will let you edit a recipe. And here's the recipe editor. So I am going to create a new recipe. You'll see the red line across the top means there's no recipe open. You can't do anything. You can click open or new. I'm going to go in there and call it test. And here my new recipe, it's green. It shows me that my recipe is loaded. You're going to pump to a base pressure of 200. I'm going to hold at that pressure for 10 seconds, and then I'm going to run through recipe steps where I can turn on and off my different gases, power, and pressure for a certain amount of time. And so basically how this works is this controls what step you're on, 2, 3, 4. And this lets you copy and paste and delete steps. So for instance, my first step, let's say I just want to have a gas flow. And it tells you down the bottom, as you see, this is enter gas flow. When you enter the dialog box here, like say we'll go to the next line, it'll change to 500. So oxygen can be up to 500, so I'll do 350. RF power in this case can be 500, so I'll do 250. And then step time, I can have up to 10,000 seconds. So let's just do it for 10 seconds. And then if I want to, I can copy this, go next, and hit paste. Now I have the same step again a second time, but say this time I want to go up to 500 watts. And I want to do it for 60 seconds. So now you see how that works. The recipe will run until it comes to a 0 time. So in this case, it's going to run first step, second step, third step has 0 time in it, it's going to stop. So that's how you edit a recipe. And then you have configuration mode. In here, you can change the mass flow controllers. You can change the gas name. I'll call it gas 1. You can change the size. Let's call it 200. And then the calibration factor depends on the gas. If you have nitrogen flow controllers in there, you got to look this up in the MKS manual. So let's say it's 150%. You'll notice the adjusted size changed to 300. The analog offset would be like if it's coming back and it's off by, say, I don't know, 5 millitorr or something like that, or sorry, 5 SCCM, and you want to add 5. You could add 5 SCCM, or you could also subtract 5 SCCM from the reading. That is needed because you have a high warning of 5 and a low warning of 5. This is for tolerance checking. So my analog offset, I'll set it to 0. If you are running and you have it set at, say, 100 SCCM and it starts drifting above 105 or below 95, the system will eventually error. So you can make these windows bigger by, you could say, maybe 20. So now it could be 120 before it would error. Then you have your barytron size. You can change it. Right now it's 1,000 millitorr. You can make it 100 millitorr depending on what size your barytron is. And then you have your RF generator, and you have your forward power. You still have your analog offset, your high warning, low warning, and then you have your reflected power, and then any analog offset for reflected power. And then pressure and delay settings. This is like the gas line purge time. When it's done processing, it'll purge out. The gas line, it purges right here. It'll go up and through and clean out the gas line. So you might have it set for 20 seconds or something. And then after it's done purging, it'll pump the system back down for this amount of time. And then there's the soft rough, which, you know, when you're at atmosphere and you want to pump it down, it'll open the soft rough valve for this amount of time. Right now it's set for 10 seconds. And then when you're running, your values on the flow controllers or your gases or whatever, basically it's allowed to be out of tolerance for 30 seconds before the system will error. So if it drifts and it drifts out for 20 seconds, it drifts back in, it'll reset that. Anyway, you can read more about that in the system support documentation. Alarms, this will put up any alarm. Like I can turn off the water flow switch and show you. The alarm will just pop right up and it tells you Monday, April 1st, a water flow, and you can go to alarm history. This just pulls up a text box with all the alarms that were in it. So you can see water flow, alarm went off. Here Saturday, a recipe was aborted because of oxygen flow. So you can see the history of your alarms, and then you can acknowledge the alarm and close it. And I already discussed history and support. I'm going to log out of engineering mode.